Okay, somebody is on besides me. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. It is almost 10 after 4. So my computer came in, yay, but it's the camera's not working, so now I gotta figure out what's going on with my computer. So I've got you guys on my phone, so if anybody tries to text or call, I'm not gonna be available. And nobody is in the office for this training, so I'm assuming everybody will be online. So I reserved a room kind of just for me to sit here alone. All right, let's see. Who do we have on? I don't know. My phone isn't working. It's not letting me see. So if you guys will type in the chat box or comment or something and let me know that you are here. What I'm going to do, though, I'll solo through the class so that it's recorded. It'll be in the Facebook group, and you guys can, check back later if you can. So I'm going to start. So today's class is Prospecting 101. If you are in the class, please do type in the chat box your name and your license number so that I can record it and put it in the meetings book, because we have to keep meeting minutes as well as training minutes. So just so you guys know, that's why I'm always having you sign in and do all that kind of stuff. Okay, so Prospecting 101. We're going to talk about mostly today just prospecting, getting clients, closing clients, and so we're going to start with, just kind of the whole process of dealing with leads, working with leads, creating leads, and then building your business around it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about today is time blocking. So a lot of things, or a lot that has to do with prospecting, is taking the time every single day out of your schedule, whether you have showings, whether you have work, whether, whatever it is that you have going on at home or in your life or during your day. If you're not making prospecting one of your main activities for the day, you will fail at this business. Referral business comes only if you ask for it. Maybe your mom will promote you more than you will promote yourself. That's fantastic. But if you're not taking the time every single day to prospect and to stuff your pipeline so that you have business 3 months from now, then you're just going to have one client today and nothing to do in 3 months. So I do want to talk a little bit about time blocking. Your prospecting time should be an appointment on your calendar that's not negotiable. So I always did in my real estate days, my realtor days, 10 to 11. So now I use that as my meeting time, because that's a time that I can commit to. Like, I can get my kids out the house. I can get my, I can get to work or to office or eat breakfast or do whatever it is I need to do in the morning, because I know I'm not a morning person. I wake up at 7:30 and 10 o'clock is by the time I'm like settled and ready to do work. So that was my first hour, 10 to 11. And that was on my schedule. So it didn't matter what else was coming up in the day. Like if my office, my broker's office was having a meeting from 11 to 12, then I was late. I was there 11:15 or 11:30, if I was driving in. Now, I'm not trying to tell you guys don't come to our meetings, because they're really important, and I always feel like I have a lot to say and stuff to give you, and sometimes it's the only time I get to see you. But also on those days, I would make it a point to try and be in the office and making my prospecting calls from there, so that I was a few minutes late and not like ridiculously late. But I never scheduled an appointment, scheduled a nail appointment or a hair appointment, or you know, whatever the case is. I just kind of got tired of doing those things. And I'm sorry, I got a text message, guys. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted. Try not to text me. So I would make sure that I didn't schedule anything during that time. It's called time blocking. You block it off your calendar. Nothing's going to come between you and your prospecting time. There shouldn't be. You need to make sure that you're taking that time for yourself. And then keep in mind that real estate's a 3-month turnover, right? So, and that's average. So sometimes you're going to have turnover in a couple of days. Sometimes you're going to have turnover in a month. And sometimes you're going to have turnover in a year or two. Guys, I've had time that I set up a client on just like a email drip through Netris. I mean, I didn't even put this person on an actual drip because I really thought they were never going to buy. So I put them on a Netris search. They kept, you know, searching my stuff. And 2 years later, I got this random phone call. Hey, I just wanted to, I finally got approved and I'm ready to buy a house. So you never really know. But definitely make sure that you're taking time out of each day to sit down and make your phone calls, make your follow-up, and time block. Don't let anything else come in between that appointment. Think of it just like any other appointment. So for those of you who work part-time, you know that your hours are, you know, this time to this time. So you need to take the time to schedule your time blocking outside of those hours, whether it's you're waking up earlier in the morning or you're doing it after work. But just make sure that you're taking that time. I always scheduled either between 1 and 2 hours, depending on how many leads I had. But I always scheduled at least an hour. And again, there is like a turnover time. So average is 3 months. Everything you do today depends on what you're gonna have 3 months from now. So if you're stuffing your pipeline, making those calls, you know, creating a good follow-up system, then in 3 months, some of that business is going to turn. Just because you have a client today doesn't mean you're going to have a client tomorrow, you know, so don't let those clients today take up your time, your whole time that you're working on them, because this is what happens in real estate. I got a client, my whole focus is on that client, and then you close the client. Cricket, I have no more business. Okay, well, what did you do during that time? Like, did you take the time to prospect to build a business for this empty space? No, I worked with my client. I was so busy with them. Or even if you have 3 or 4 or 5 clients at a time, you got to make sure that you're time blocking. So there's a book called The One Thing. It's a Keller Williams book. I think Gary Keller wrote this book. It's called The One Thing, and you focus on the one thing that you hate doing the most, that's going to bring you the most money, the most productive item, and you do that first. It's the one thing you plan on getting done, and everything else, if it gets done, great. If it doesn't, it's not the one thing you had to get done. And to me, prospecting should be that one thing. If you guys want that book, I've got 2 copies in the office. Come borrow it, read it. It's a short book. I think it's like maybe 150 pages. You could read it in a week. So keep that in mind to try and get it done first, because I know a lot of you are working part-time jobs, and if you have the energy to come home afterwards and dedicate, you know, the time to your prospecting, good for you. But if you don't, try doing it first, you know. And if you can't, sometimes if this is the business you really want to be in, you're just gonna have to muscle through it. It's probably gonna suck for a couple months, you know, until you start getting that more consistent daily business that you can quit your job, or you can, you know, solely depend on real estate and you're comfortable with it. So that's time blocking in a nutshell, okay? If you guys, I will teach a whole class on time blocking and goal planning. So keep an eye out for that. We were gonna do it last month, but we did something else, so. All right, another thing about prospecting is, where do I find my leads? I just don't know who to ask or what to talk about. So we're gonna go from what I provide, stuff you can pay for, and then options that are free, okay? So one thing, you guys know that I provide office leads. Our CRM right now has an area that they just added on. It's called Lead Ponds, where I can take all of our old leads and dump them in there. And if you want a lead, you assign it to yourself and then you work the lead. So we do have office leads. Lately, I've been round robining them because we're a smaller brokerage and I know every single one of you and kind of your schedule. I've been, like I know Kyle is available. I know Angela is available. I know Marcy is available. And I've been kind of making sure that I'm handing you guys those leads as they come in a round robin style. Like I know Nadeem is not available right now, so I'm not sending him any leads. But when he comes back, he will. And, I was very conscious about those of you who have part-time jobs. I want to, I want to support you and I want to give you leads. But if you're not able to speed to lead and really get on those leads immediately, then it's a wasted lead. So I just want to make sure that it's when you're available. So if you guys are interested in doing the round robin leads, make sure that you update your calendars and make those calendars public so that I can see, what's your normal day-to-day schedule. You could even text it to me at this point. I'm not going to get too far into office leads because our CRM right now with Real Geeks, our contract is coming up to end, and we will be switching over to a system that is called Chime. It does a lot more. You guys are going to get personalized websites and a couple of other things that I'm going to tell you can do to get leads. So I'm not going to really hone in on CRM right now because I know that we're coming to an end with Real Geeks, but there is so much that you can do with your personal website. So leads from office, lead ponds, which right now they're not out there, but I'm going to try and get that at least dumped for now. And then you guys can reach in there if you need to. You can purchase leads. That's what I do. I don't get all these leads from, natural sources all the time. I have to fill my lead space with money. So you guys can do the same. There are many agents who have a lot of success purchasing Zillow, Realtor.com leads, whatever leads that you can come up with, whatever companies are selling leads, you can do that. You can purchase leads from those kind of companies. While I do that, I'm doing it for a whole office and I'm round robining. When you guys do it for yourself, you can pick your personal zip code that you want and have that flow into the CRM because they're automatically assigned to you if they're coming through your page. So that's one option to get leads. Another option is to optimize your website. So when we change over to Chime, you guys will have personalized websites. So right now on Real Geeks, it's sagestreetrealty.com/Kyle Floyd /Nikki Cortez /Renee Anderson. It's called a landing page. So you're just part of our website. With our new CRM, you're going to have a customized subdomain website. So it's totally, you guys can brand it to yourself and use it on your own, stuff. And so then rather than it being sagestreetrealty.com /someone's name, it's going to be renee.sagestreetrealty.com, kyle.sagestreetrealty.com. So that subdomain makes a whole separate website for you. And what you'll be able to do is optimize that with SEO, write your own blog posts, that kind of stuff. So look into optimization of your website once we get that going, because that's a great way to get, start pulling in your own leads. Along with that, Chime has Google and Facebook integration. So you could do Facebook ads or Google ads. So this is another paid way to get leads, right? Boosting your posts on Facebook, just running ads in general. Make sure you're reading the Facebook laws on running ads about housing and fair housing because you'll get rejected. But you can also run Google ads. I have a really great SEO guy that you guys will meet at Wind Down Wednesday if you want to talk more about Google and Facebook, because he's really like an expert in those areas. You can do it on your own, absolutely. Sometimes you're just spending money. From what I found personally, I'm just spending money, but I'm not really getting a great rate of return on my investment. So it may be a good idea to invest in somebody who can actually do that professionally for you. Keep in mind, these are all ways that you can pay and put money in your business to market yourself. Remember, guys, that real estate, it's your business. It's your marketing to build and grow. Okay. The other ways that you can get leads that you don't have to pay for, that I'm paying for, are expireds. So if you're looking for seller leads, for sell by owner leads, or canceled leads, I buy those lists, guys, and I've offered to give them to you. If you want to take part in the expired calling, it doesn't cost you anything but your time. So there's two things you have to put into business if you want to succeed: time and money. And if you don't have money, you got to put more time. And if you don't have time, you have to put more money. That is the law of the world. Why? I don't know. I don't make the rules. I just know that's how it goes. So keep in mind that if you can't put in the money to purchase leads in the other ways, put your time in. Call expireds. It's a great source for listings. I mean, these people have literally raised their hand and said, hey, I want to sell my house. An agent came in, tried to sell their house, but was unable to. And they're still like, hey, I still need to sell my house. It's a dog-eat-dog world in expireds. But if you guys can master it, it's actually a really good source of income and a source of leads and a source of business. So I would definitely look into that. I have expired lists. I have expired scripts. And if anybody was here today, I was handing out copies of our lists, of our scripts for all of our internet leads. Guys, this is on the drive. So I had just printed it out so you could have it here. And we were going to do some role play, but we won't be doing that today since I'm here alone. Okay. Sorry, I got a phone call. It's Rick. I will call him right back. So I do want to go through a couple of free lead sources that are out there, just so you guys kind of have an idea, and we'll touch base, just touch quickly on each one of these sources. If you want more information on any of them, please come see me privately, okay? So how to generate real estate leads with no upfront cost. There's 19 different ways I've got here on my list. 1, past clients. So if you're a new agent, you don't have past clients, but you might have past clients that you worked with in a different field of work. You know, they already know you, they trust you. Why wouldn't they work with you again? Your SOI, your sphere of influence. So friends, family, friends of friends, you know, those are considered your sphere of influence. People who influence your life, they're going to influence your business just as much. So reach out to them. NAR says that 64% of sellers found their agent through a referral, a friend, or a neighbor, or a relative. So referrals are a great source of business. So definitely don't take for granted, like putting on Facebook that you're a realtor and telling everybody that you know that you're a realtor, because word of mouth and referrals are literally the best source of income. If your friend trusts you, then their friend will trust you because their friend, the friend of my friend, right? So keep in mind that the more you put it out there, the more vocal you are. Don't be shy about what you're doing or who you are and the business that you started. I mean, think about multi-level marketing companies and people. Like, I mean, I don't know how many of my friends I knew from high school are like doing Rodan and Fields now, and I get all these phone calls and Facebook party invites, and you know, because they're starting a business. And because I don't even know them, I can't say I care a lot. You know, I barely know these people, and I knew them 20 years ago. So you just have to, you know, you gotta put the word out, guys. And I'm sorry, I'm still getting text messages. So get the word out, tell people what you're doing. And I'm ringing again, sorry. Okay, another way is for sell by owners. A lot of people will tell you can drive around and find for sell by owner signs. Guys, I pay for the list. Ask me for the list. You don't need to be driving neighborhoods. You can. It's not a bad thing. If you want to drive around the neighborhood, you can see a for sell by owner sign. You want to give them a call them. You want to go knock on their door? Knock on their door. Not everybody likes their door being knocked on, but you know, keep those things in mind. But I do buy those lists, so feel free to come into the office and grab a list. Or email me. I'm happy to email it to you. Partner with a lender or attorney. You know, I talked about your website being optimizable, where you can get Facebook leads and Google leads from there. Partner with a lender, guys. Sometimes they will, you know, when you've referred them a little bit of business, I mean, you're referring them business, but they really don't have the opportunity to refer it back. So sometimes asking them to pay for something like a monthly fee or some extra ads is a fantastic way to get more leads. Or an attorney. You can, so many attorneys do probate law, or, you know, real estate attorneys or corporate attorneys. If you're doing commercial, they have business coming in. Divorce attorneys, those people have to sell because they can't come to an agreement on the property and who it's going to go to. Like I said, probate attorneys, attorneys of estates, that kind of stuff. So look for people to partner with in your business. It helps you grow, it helps them grow. So it's basically a win-win situation. Open houses, take advantage of when we do have open houses in the office, okay? And we will always try and accommodate you to come and do an open house with us. Landing pages and drip email sequences. If you guys want more information on that, please see me personally, because that is a whole class in itself, doing landing pages. But the thought behind it is very social media oriented. You put in a Facebook page that has, you know, a really good catchy ad that goes to a landing page that takes their information for something for free, like get your free home valuation. They click on it, it takes them to a landing page that you put, enter your address to get your free evaluation and your email and phone number so we can get your evaluation to you. And then their information goes into your CRM. They're sent the, you know, value report, and now you want to set them up on a drip email sequence. Like, how did you think your value was? Next email is, do you want to talk about selling your home? Next email is, you know, how to improve curb appeal, and the next one is, you know, thinking about selling, and the next one is packing and pro tips, or whatever the case is. So that's a whole training in itself. But if you guys are interested in doing something like that, let me know. It can cost money, but it doesn't have to necessarily. Another way is to volunteer or speak at or do free community events. So anytime you volunteer, wear your polo, or, you know, go and take your business cards. One, you're with people who are like-minded. You know, usually volunteers are people who are in business and they have a little bit of extra time that they want to give. And philanthropy, while it seems kind of, you know, bottom feeder-ish, is really, really good for your image. And that's kind of where we're at in this business, is building an image and building a brand. So volunteering is a great way to get your name out there, speaking at events, career fairs with your kids, pet fairs, you know, with your pets, community events. You know, if the local park in your area is going to have a picnic, then ask if you can sponsor. Can I bring water? You know, can I do this? And then any of those kind of things really kind of help you get your name out there. Even I did with Sharina before she was working with us. You know, she would have these adoption events with her the shelter that she ran, the dog rescue. And I mean, I would just go and, you know, help people look at dogs and, you know, keep water there and, you know, just be there while she had, you know, if she's talking to people, I was somebody else that could talk to people. And I handed out dog bags. Like I went to the Dollar Tree and bought like doggy treats and dog poop bags and wrapped them up together and handed them out. And it cost me $2 and it's about an hour and a half of my time. So those are the kind of things you can do. Review websites. So there are many sites that you can go out there and review. And when you make a review, you put, you know, Renee Anderson at Sage Street Realty at the end. So the more sites you review, the more credible you become as a reviewer. Yelp is a great place to do that. Facebook is another place you can do that. Google, make sure you're just putting reviews out there. And when you sign your signature on the review, it's your name at Sage Street Realty or your name, Realtor, you know, at the end of it. keep those things in mind. For rent by owners, I don't have many of those on my list, but sometimes you can find like something that says for rent and it's a little rent sign in a random neighborhood, and you can always try calling them. Sometimes those people are so sick of being landlords and they prefer to sell. So sometimes it's a good place to start. Moving companies, you can reach out to them and ask them, if they need help, or, if you could sponsor their newsletter in any way, or, those kind of things. Marriage announcements, you could do that at your church, or on Facebook when you see your friends are, we just got married, or, your cousin's friends or whatever. Reach out to those people. Say, hey, I'm a realtor. I know they're about to get married. Do they want to, have they been considered like looking at properties, so you never know. Also remember that we're not always trying to buy and sell. Having a rental client is a fantastic thing. Our business, sales take 30 to 45 days. That's just in contract. So prior to the contract, you have this, lull time where you're either looking for your seller or for your buyer, or you're getting your seller prepared. This whole process can take anywhere from 2 months to a year, So when you can do a rental property, they turn over very quickly, sometimes within 30 days, and you're getting paid right away. So it's a great way to fill in your business by using renters and stuff. You can start a blog. Again, your new website with Chime will have a whole full website. So start blogging. The more professional and more information you give to people, the more they feel like you are the expert in the area. You are the expert in the subject matter, and they trust you more. So they seek you out. Blogs also rank really high in Google. So if you're not buying ads, you can you can really throw the SEO on your blog, make sure you're using keywords, and just Google this, guys. How do I get my blog posts to rank higher? There are certain tags you use for your title, and certain keywords you have to use in your post that will help it optimize faster and be on the front page, especially long sequence keywords where it's like buying a home or buying a condo in Richardson, Texas, rather than Richardson Homes, Richardson Sales, Richardson Home for Sales, buying a condo in Richardson, Texas, by a golf course. Like these long sequence keywords that actually make you rank way higher. So the pool is smaller, but you're more likely to be ranked number 1 on those smaller pools. Contribute to articles and podcasts. That's another great way to get people to notice who you are. Connect on social media. So there's social media. If you guys aren't on it, I know some of you are newer to social media. It's a really great place to get business. You can do paid ads. You can communicate with people, connect with leads, especially if somebody talked to you once or twice. Go find them on Facebook, friend them. Like, this is a relational business. We are in sales, but we're also relational. You don't want to be salesy. You don't want to be, the jerk they don't know. You become their best friend for that 45 days you're working with them. So keep that in mind. Answers on Quora. There's a search engine question, like you can ask any questions on this system called Quora. So if you guys want information on doing the Quora answering questions, let me know. There's a whole way to do that. And again, it would be very similar to using the landing pages. It could take its own training. So I'm not going to go super deep into that, but there's just a lot of questions that go unanswered or answered really badly. So when you go on and start answering those questions more and more times, you become an expert on Quora, and they start ranking your profile higher. And you can set your profile so that you have, your face on there and your contact information for real estate. So that's another way to get free leads. That's free. You're just taking a little bit of time to answer people's questions and be an expert in the subject matter. There is always door knocking. You guys can go and knock on doors in neighborhoods that you like. I would highly suggest, if you're door knocking, have a buyer in mind. If you don't personally have a buyer, jump on a Facebook group. There's a group called Buyer Needs, or I have this buyer need, or I need this for a buyer, something like that. I'll find it for you guys and I'll send it out. But those people are saying, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Carrollton for, under $300,000, or I'm looking for this with a pool for $600,000, but can't find it anywhere. So these people are like, I cannot find this house. Find it. And then call that agent, like if you found the house and you get that listing because you have a specific buyer in mind, when you go and knock on the door, hi, Mr. Seller, or hi, Mr. Owner. My name is Renee Anderson. I work with Sage Street Realty. I know of a buyer who's been looking in this neighborhood for a house with a pool, and your house happens to fit perfectly. I was just curious, have you considered selling, or you think you're ever going to be in that path? If they say no, no worries. Thank you so much for your time. Here's my business card. If you ever have any questions about the market, I'd love to answer them for you. And move on. And you move on three doors down because they have a pool and everything you need. Knock, knock, knock. Have you ever considered selling? Actually, yeah, we were thinking about it. We don't really want to pay the fees, and we don't want to do this, and we don't want to do that. Well, I have a buyer in mind. Like, you wouldn't even have to do open houses or anything. Would you be interested in even like sitting with me to get a listing? Like, I can tell you what I do to get your home sold, and I'd be happy to connect you with this buyer. Well, yeah, I guess so. You never know, right? So then you would reach out to that agent. Hey, I found a house for you. I'm just getting them under contract, and then I will turn around and give you a call, and you get first dibs because that was what gave you the inspiration. So you don't always have to have your own buyers to go out and door knock, but I would suggest at least have a buyer in mind, because people don't take to door knocking so well anymore. Cold calling, guys, that's expireds, right? Or anybody who isn't expecting a call is considered a cold call. You can cold call expireds, you can cold call neighborhoods, you can get lists from title companies of people who are in the right neighborhood and all of their contact information. Investors do this all the time. That's how they get all these really great deals on houses, So keep that in mind. Cold calling, be careful not to call people on the do not call registry because that can get us sued, and you have to pay for the insurance deductible if we get sued, and the attorney's fees. So that's not super exciting to, get in trouble, but just make sure you're being cautious of who you're calling. And the last thing is thank you cards. When you work with an agent, send them a thank you card. When you sold a house, send the buyer a thank you card. Send the seller a thank you card. When you have a party at your house, and your family members thank you cards. Guys, don't underestimate the power of saying thank you to people. We're kind of in a world right now that a lot of things are ugly and not super... politics has kind of, blurred a lot of lines, but a little bit of compassion and politeness goes so far right now. So don't put it past you to handwrite a thank you card to somebody if they did something nice for you. I always write a thank you card to the other agent on the other side of the deal, even before I was a broker. Right now it's fantastic because I'm a broker and I'm hoping that if I liked them, they want to come and work with us. But before, it was like, thank you so much. I had a great time working with you. Or, it was really nice to deal with somebody who, was consistent in the deal. Whatever it is, find something nice, say something nice to them, send them the thank you card. When they're working on a deal, or they have too much business, or maybe their team isn't working well, they may refer somebody to you. You never really know what people's situation. They might go out of the country and they're not going to be back for a month, but they're not really close to anybody in their brokerage. And they're like, that chick wrote me a really nice thank you note. I'm going to just send her a deal and see if she's available. So keep in mind that, a thank you goes a long way, and politeness goes a long way. So use your manners and write some notes. Okay, so that's kind of in a nutshell where to find leads. I have a list with a bunch of details on all those 17 ways to find free leads. So if you guys want that, just shoot me an email and I'll send it over to you. So the next part of prospecting, we've got about 15 minutes left, so I'm going to kind of speed through this, is scripts. So I printed out the scripts for you guys if you want them, but there's buyer advertising lead script. So if you're buying Zillow leads or Realtor.com leads, you might use that. Landing page lead script. So if somebody came to your landing page that you set up, you would use that script. Voicemail lead script. So if you grab somebody's voicemail, sometimes you'll leave a voicemail, sometimes you don't, but if you do, there's a script for that. For sell by owner script, high sales area script. The follow-up lead script, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Listing view, like I want to see your listing. Some expired, that might help with expireds if that's not working out for you. The expired list script isn't working for you. Referral buyers. So a friend of a friend referred me to you. You might use the referral buyer script or referral seller script. Expired listing lead script, probate referral script. All of these are in the drive, but I had printed some out in case anybody was here, and we were going to do a back and forth practice. But since nobody's here, we're not going to take the time to do that. But go ahead and get familiar with these guys. Like, practice makes perfect. Read them to yourself. Write them down like 5 or 6 times, especially if you're calling expires. You need to be an expert on that expired list. So write it down like when you were a kid. I will not stand up in class. I will not stand up in class. You want to go through that expired script, personalize it a little bit, because you don't want to sound like, hi, my name is Renee Anderson. I'm with Sage Street Realty. I received your information from realtor.com and I believe I can find a buyer for your property. That is so boring, so make sure, obviously this is a guideline, right? You want to personalize it, make it sound like you. Hey, my name's Renee Anderson with Sage Street Realty. I got your information from realtor.com. I know that you've been trying to sell your home on your own. I actually have a buyer that's been looking in that area. You've probably worked with a bunch of agents before, but I have some really awesome marketing ideas, blah, blah, blah. You might go through it like that, okay? So make sure you use your tonality, use your words, but read through it, know it, and then customize it to your words, to your personality. Hey, y'all, my name's Renee. Like, how do you talk? Because if it doesn't sound like you, it sounds like you're reading from a script and people are bored already. They're not going to listen anymore. Okay, so make sure that you practice. Get a role play partner. Call somebody. You can call me, you can call anybody, and we'll be happy to help you guys out with some role play on your sales scripts. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to quickly go over, because I think my phone is also dying on top of everything else going wrong today, is follow-up. So here's the other thing with prospecting. You can take the time to time block. You can have 100 leads every day coming in. You can know your scripts. So you're calling those leads, telling your script, prospecting every day. All of these things work, but they work better if you follow up. Okay, so if I got a hold of Amzie, and hi Amzie, if I got a hold of Amzie one day, hey Amzie, this is Renee Anderson with Sage Street Realty. I see that you're trying to sell your house by yourself. How's that going for you? Not so great? Oh my gosh, I understand. I tried to do it myself and I'm a realtor and it's driving me bananas, but let me tell you what I can do for you. She talks to me, she likes me, doesn't set an appointment. That happens a lot. That's okay. All right, well, I will follow back up with you. Okay, we hang up. If I don't follow back up with her, even though we had this great conversation, I'm gonna get no business from it, none. Amzie's not gonna call me back. She doesn't care that I am fantastic and have like similar experience to her and that I was the funnest person she's ever talked to and that we'll probably be best friends forever. She doesn't care because she forgot about me 3 minutes after we hung up. So if you're not following up with these people, you're not gonna super succeed in this business, right? You might get the occasional, yeah, well, I want to meet today. Awesome. That does happen, but not as often as, okay, great. Well, I'll call you later. Okay, great. Let me talk to my husband. Okay, great. I'm walking into a meeting, or no answer at all. You really do need to follow up. So time block, we talked about time blocking to do your calls. So I always do an hour of time blocking to prospect and then an hour of time blocking to follow up, because you want to go back and call the people that you called 3 days ago again, and text the people that you told them you'd text yesterday, and email everybody. We have drips set up in our CRM, so you can just go in and assign a drip. It will email and text for you, and it'll give you reminders of the people you need to call that day. But take your hour to call those people. Hey, and then also to set up all your new drips with your people you just prospected, okay? So I know it seems like this crazy business, but that's what it is, right? You gotta bring them in and keep working them. So make sure you set up your drips. Keep notes on every person you talk to, okay? So if I talk to Amzie and she told me her dog just died, I want to ask her in like, 3 weeks, oh, how's your family taking the loss? And then she remembers that I remembered, and it makes an even better connection. And then another thing is, don't get your feelings hurt, okay, guys? You need to grow a thick skin in this business. People are going to hang up on you during your prospecting time, or you're going to follow up and follow up and follow up, and they're going to ignore you, or they're going to go out and look at houses with you, and then you're going to follow up and they're never going to talk to you again. Don't let that lead die. Okay, so no news is not bad news. No news is, oh, I'm going to just keep bothering you till you love me again. Unless they say, hey, stop freaking calling me, I hate you, and I never want to talk to you again, then okay, that's a dead lead. No big deal. I don't hate you, but that's fine. But if they don't answer you, keep going. Don't take it personally. It's the nature of the business, guys. And some people they're just busy, and you probably are bothering them, but eventually they're going to be like, oh, I actually do need this, and thank you for keep bothering me, because I don't know, I totally forgot, and every time you call me, I'm busy, and I'm glad you finally called me back. So don't take that for granted, because it happens. And then follow-up doesn't always have to be a phone call and email. It can be a text. It can be a written letter. It can be a social media a comment on their post. So just keep in mind there's many, many ways to follow up with people, but make sure that you're making an effort to do it and that you're time blocking your time to do it. So if there's one takeaway you can take from Prospecting 101, and I know this was a really quick class, I could go so deep into all of these things, but the one takeaway I hope you get is that you need to take the time to do it and the time to follow up. If you don't have those things, prospecting won't ever be anything that works for you. And then you're going to be an average or less agent, less than 6 deals or up to 6 deals a year. And I don't want that for any of you guys. I mean, we're all in this business to succeed, to get out of our corporate jobs, to get out of our current situations, and to make money, enough money to support our families. There's no need to be greedy and to be ugly about things, but you have to do the work. If you're not willing to do the work, you're definitely in the wrong business. I know none of you guys are in that situation, because I know that I've talked to every single one of you individually, and you're passionate about what you do. You're passionate about helping people, and that's all this is. But you do have to take the time. So make sure that they're 100% scheduled out time. Nobody can take that appointment. Your doctor says, I'm available from 10 to 11. I'm sorry, doctor, I'm scheduled for that time. Can you fit me in at 2? So make sure that you just don't give up that time for anybody or anything. I mean, death in the family, big major events, I get that. I'm not being ridiculous and a, Hitler broker here, but keep in mind that every time you give that time away to somebody, to something else, to somebody else, that's money that you're not making. So I hope you guys like Prospecting 101. We can we'll get farther into the CRM and stuff when I do CRM class, which I'm holding off on for our new one. If you want to come pick up some of these scripts that I printed, please feel free to do so. And if you had any questions about the free lead sources, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to cut out before my phone dies, and I hope to see you guys all at Wind Down Wednesday tonight. Bye.